The Supreme Court recently set aside a 2017 dismissal order against an MSEDCL employee. The court upheld the finding of misconduct, but ruled the disciplinary authority flawed the punishment process. The timeline of this case spans decades. After 21 years of service, the employee was suspended in 2006 for internal disciplinary issues. She remained in legal limbo for 11 years, until her formal dismissal in 2017. Looking at this judgment excerpt, the appellant argued the executive engineer lacked competence to dismiss her. The court rejected this, clarifying MSEDCL employees do not hold constitutionally protected civil posts under Article 311, confirming the executive engineer had legal authority to act. However, possessing the legal authority to terminate an employee does not exempt an organization from following strict procedural due process. This section of the ruling highlights the first major procedural failure. The employer based the dismissal on an outdated show cause notice tied to a domestic inquiry that had already been declared defective by a labor court. The misconduct was proven anew before the labor court. Despite these new findings, the employer skipped a vital step, never issuing a fresh show cause notice. The court's rule is clear. An employer cannot recycle an old notice to enforce a penalty based on new findings. Bypassing the fresh notice denied the employee her right to offer an explanation against the final, valid findings before the punishment was applied. The employer's second major error involved the 11-year suspension period leading up to the dismissal. The disciplinary authority officially dismissed the employee, while simultaneously ordering that her entire past suspension be treated as an additional standalone punishment. This stacking violates MSEDCL's own service regulations. Dismissal and suspension are classified as separate, distinct punishments that cannot be combined retroactively for a single instance of misconduct. An employer cannot invent compounding penalties outside the strict bounds defined by their corporate service rules. This portion of the judgment brings us to the court's final test, determining whether the penalty of dismissal was proportionate to the misconduct. The court noted mitigating factors the employer ignored. The charges involved internal indiscipline, completely absent of corruption or financial loss, following 21 years of unblemished service. Applying dismissal for this, without evaluating these factors, is grossly disproportionate to the infractions. As seen in this directive, the Supreme Court remanded the case back to the disciplinary authority. They are instructed to issue a fresh show cause notice and objectively reconsider a proportional penalty. Employee misconduct cannot be ignored. However, any resulting punishment must clear the legal hurdles of due process, procedural fairness, and strict proportionality.